on Saturday at Nassau Coliseum. Again, literally across the street from where he went to school, minutes from where he grew up. Weidman went in there on a 3-fight losing streak and submitted Kelvin Gastelum in the third round. Lest we forget, he was the betting underdog going into this fight. Rarely have I seen a scene like that. That was the best that MMA had to offer in terms of the emotion, the crowd, the jubilation. So honored to be there and witness it in person. And now we are being joined by the victorious Chris Weidman on the phone to kick things off. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you still, have you gone to bed yet?
I don't have many hours in me right now. The first night was like at 7:30 in the morning. I went to sleep and I had to be up at like 11.
Oh my!
So that's what I had for that day. And then last night was another long night. So maybe tonight I'm going to get my sleep.
7:30 a.m. So you probably left the arena at around like 12:31. What did you do between then and 7:30 on Long Island?
Man, I went to after party at Parlay Rockland Center, and we actually had two places. So that we had one place where I had like close friends and family, friends. I said close friends and family. Yeah, so close friends and family and some fans. We had we got to eat a bunch of food, and then right next door was like the craziness with all just straight up fans and people from the area. And it was a crazy time. So we were there pretty much all night. And then we ended up going to a pizzeria that was closed, and they found out that I was there and they kept it open for me.
Wow.
And, we actually got to make our own pizzas and everything. Everybody I was with just got to like hang out in the kitchen. So it was pretty cool. We hung out there for a good chunk of the night, Friday like 5 in the morning.
Is it
and then headed back. Yeah.
Is it possible, Chris, that you were happier on Saturday than you were when you beat Anderson Silva for the first time?
Man, it's they're two different events, but it's very complete. They're two different moments, but man, I was pretty damn happy. I'm still happy. Just with everything I was going through, and then I had to keep my mouth shut and hear all the doubters, and just have to go out there and prove everybody wrong with my actions, and to get it done. And a place like Nassau Coliseum with so much support, I wasn't sure how much support I was going to have there. I figured obviously I was going to be the fan favorite. But it was what ended up happening that night was an unbelievable moment.
Have you watched it again yet?
Yeah, I've watched it a couple of times now.
What is it like watching it and then seeing the reaction afterwards?
It was insane. It's insane. It felt weird. I watched it last night, and it's crazy that just happened on Saturday, and that was me doing it, and how it all worked out. It was crazy, man. Like I grew up going to Nassau Coliseum. I told all these stories, but it's just a very surreal situation. And there were so many familiar faces in the crowd afterwards. Like just walking back out after the fight was over, it was another amazing time. Just seeing so many familiar faces. I had so much back there from people that I haven't seen in years. So it was really cool.
Yeah, they actually. I was watching it in the back, and they kept the camera on you after they switched to the post-fight show. So we got to watch you just go into the locker room, and the way you were greeting everyone and hugging and high-fiving everyone, and it did seem like you kind of knew some of these people. You mentioned in the post-fight press conference that you saw a kid that you used to fight in like the 6th grade. Were there other kids as well that you were just like, oh my God, I can't believe it, and it felt like you were celebrating winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was amazing to watch. That was my favorite part.
All these people I know, like they've had my back, and I haven't been able to show them love. I can see them in person, and to finally see them right there and give them a part of that moment was like awesome for me to share with them. So it was I was amped. I was amped to have all those people there. And there was a lot of people from my hometown that I was seeing on my way out, and then people from just different walks of life that I've met along the years on around, just being out here. So it was really cool.
I really admired how you dealt with the losing streak and how you remained confident and didn't allow any of the doubters to sort of get you off your game and start doubting yourself. But in hindsight, could you tell us, like Saturday, did you wake up, did you have a moment you were like, man, I can't lose 4 in a row? Like, did you feel a little more nervous considering the setting and what was at stake? You said all the right things going in, but in hindsight, how were you really feeling?
To be honest, I was pretty confident. I put it into God's hands, and I just wanted to go out there and work hard, stay relaxed, and make it like another sparring session. every once in a while, those type of thoughts pop in my head. Like, I'm freaking, like, it's crazy that if I lose this fight, that's 4 in a row. Like, it just boggles my mind because I'm not, in my mind, I'm not that guy who's losing that many fights. So every once in a while, pop in my head, but that would pop right back out. Those were thoughts that maybe lasted for like a second. They go back out, and then I had confident thoughts. So it really wasn't like I had. I know everybody probably thought obviously I put a lot of pressure on myself, but the losing streak was more motivating than adding pressure. It was an opportunity to come back from adversity, and and again, like. To prove people wrong. It was an exciting, motivating thing.
You said after the fight that was the first time that you'd have ever been dropped. But I mean, and people were like, wait a second, what about the Romero fight? What did you mean when you said that? Did you mean like in the heat of a fight to not end a fight?
Yeah, I guess so. Like my legs went out on me for like a second. It was actually, I mean, the more I think about it, it was like, he hit me really hard, but I was like kind of sliding backwards, and he caught me off balance and bounced on my butt. But I was coherent the whole time. My legs went out for me for a second. The Romero fight, I mean, I guess I got dropped in that too. Just like that was like an extreme move that I got hit with in that fight. This one was like just it was a hard punch. That never happened before, but it was more of like a combination of his power and my movement that like sent me backwards. But I felt fine in between rounds. I felt fine as he was going down. I knew he obviously thought he was on his way to getting a finish, but I felt fine. My cardio felt great in between rounds. My head, my leg, everything was completely fine coming back into the second. As you could tell, he wasn't able to do much more in the second round. So it wasn't like, I don't think he was where he thought he was as far as like finishing me.
We're actually showing this picture here, and I know you've seen it because you tweeted it. Our Esther Lynn took it when he punched you, and your face looks like it's all like, I don't even know what to call it, like mangle. You've seen this, right? Unless that was someone else tweeting on your behalf. The one where your face looks like it was like smashed in. Chris, are you there? We may have lost him. Maybe he doesn't want to.
Hello?
Oh, Chris, you're there.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I actually think my fat face hit the mute button. My bad.
Oh.
I said, yeah, that picture. No, I put that up. I saw that picture. I'm like, wow. My face got put into like 7 different directions at one time. There was like a rippling effect going on. And I'm the ugliest human being ever in that picture. So I was like, this is an interesting thing. I got to put this up. I got no shame. It's part of the game. You got to get punched sometimes.
Did his power surprise you?
No, I mean, listen, this kid, look what he's done to some really good fighters. Tim Kennedy's freaking really good. Vito Belfort's really good. He stood up there and he KO'd these guys and knocked these guys out from his feet. He covers distance really well. He's quick. He's confident. He's not afraid to get hit. He stays in the pocket. So no, I was prepared. I was prepared for all that.
Would you advise him to go down to 170 now again? Like, do you think that he's just too small for 185?
I think there's benefits for him to be at 185, and there's benefits for him to be at welterweight. It's really, it's going to be up to him. I'm not going to advise him to do anything. He's competitive at any weight class he wants to go.
Okay. And so afterwards, you wasted no time in getting into it with Michael Bisping, and then it like evolved into this whole like Twitter back and forth. Are you trying, like, what's the game plan here? Do you think you can actually get him? Are you trying to bait him into, like, because it's getting pretty personal at this point. He's talking about your dad. You're talking about his eyes. It really turned into something greater than it was just by, you called him out on TV. That's fine. But then it kept going all through Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, whoever the people want to see fight for the title, I think should fight for the title. I think the best guys in the world should fight. He hasn't fought a number one contender guy since he's been a champion. Every single time I defended the belt, it was against the best guy in the world. Somehow he got away from doing that. It's kind of messed up the division. Right now, the guy, Robert Whittaker, he won the interim title, but I think he's going to be out for a while. That being said, I'm the only guy coming off a W. So I think it would make sense if he
Oh, I think you pressed mute again. Your face. Your swollen face may have pressed mute, or maybe the call got dropped because we lost you, Chris. Christopher? It says you're there. Maybe we need to call him back. Just a couple more minutes left here with Chris. You could tell he's very tired, but I appreciate him jumping on. Yeah, we'll call him back. If you follow him on Instagram, you know that he's been up many an hour over the last less than 48 hours. He had some great root beer floats, it seemed, last night, playing cards with Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy was in his corner. It was great to see his family was there, and I know people like to rag on his dad and how vocal he is about his son. I don't mind that. I probably would be the same, to be honest, if that was my son doing that. I'm a little insane when it comes to that stuff. Is he there? Chris, you're there?
Yeah. What'd you get? What'd you hear?
You said you're the only guy coming off a W.
Yeah, I'm the only guy coming off a W. I think in the out of the top contenders, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But whatever the people want to see. And I kept talking for a while, so I have no idea. I actually don't even remember what the hell where we were.
Okay.
I was talking about Bisping. There's like kind of gloves off with him. I mean, he ripped up a Cuban flag right in Romero's face in between rounds during the guy's fight for a championship. So the guy doesn't care about anything. And then right away, I mean, I do the cross-eyed thing. He comes right at my father. I mean, he comes at my family. I think he could say anything he wants about me. He could talk about how ugly I am or anything about my face or my body or whatever. Or my career. Come at me all you want. But this guy's, then he comes after my father. So, whatever. He's an idiot.
Do you think you'll get it? Do you think you have a shot?
I don't know. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you. If it makes sense, if Bisping isn't too scared to actually fight a guy like me, and give up his belt, then it'll happen. But if not, we'll fight other guys. We'll see.
Is there someone below him that you think, okay, I beat this guy and then I'll really get the title shot? Have you thought of that?
I haven't really put too much thought in it, man. I was thinking Kelvin Gastelum forever, and obviously you always want to fight for the belt. That's what I want. I want to fight for the belt. I want to make that money, and the belt is where you get the money. I learned that, so yeah. I want to get back to the belt.
You've been fairly active over the past year, but obviously MSG is coming up. Would you like to fight on that card on November 4th?
Again, I haven't put too much thought in it. I guess it depends on what we get offered. I don't know if they even want me to fight on that. I don't know. But I'm ready to go, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the card I'm on.
Okay. And so now what do? You're just going to take? Are you just taking like a long break or something? Because this has been, I mean, from Romero to April, Mousasi to this. I mean, that's a lot of fighting for you. And you've held up.
I might go to Anaheim just to find Mr. Bisping. He wants to bring up my family. I'm going to slap him in his mouth. But other than that, I got nothing going on.
How do you feel? Like, honestly, when your dad gets in there, are you somewhat embarrassed? Do you love it? Because what is it like?
No, he definitely embarrasses. He definitely embarrasses me. But I'll tell you, you can't change your family. You can't. My dad's 50. I don't know how old he is. He's over 60 now. You gotta love people for who they are. And he's my dad, and obviously he loves me. He's supporting me. He's happy for me. So it's hard to control his emotion while I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff going on. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, it doesn't give Michael Bisping the right to open up his mouth.
Sure. He's literally like hanging on like by your neck. We were showing a photo of him now. It's amazing. It's a great scene. And I don't know if you heard him say this, but he said,
I know.
He's your boy. He said this to Long Island. He said this time it's your. It was great. It was a nice little bow on the whole interaction.
Yeah.
I asked you on Saturday night what it would be like when you told your kids. What was it like when you told them on Sunday morning?
So actually that night I did. I went to where my kids were at. They were in the hotel, And I just tried. My daughter was up. She already knew I won when I came back to the room. And my little guy Colton was up. He has no idea what's going on. I had a lot of, it was fun to be able to share that moment with them and let them know, I won. And my daughter was so excited and gave me so much love and hugs and kisses and stuff. And then my son CJ obviously was really into this stuff.
Yeah.
He was passed out, and so I'm trying to wake him up. We don't let them watch the fight, so I'm trying to wake him up. I'm like, CJ, wake up! And he's like,
Did I lose you, Chris, again? Chris always rags on me for my poor cell reception, but I think he finally got me back on this one. Damn it. I wanted to know what CJ did. CJ's like his biggest fan. Okay, let's call him back quick. I love when people get mad at me. It's like, you do a show and you can't get better cell receptions. Do you think I set up these cell receptions? Like, do you think I established them with everyone who's going to be on the show? Things happen. It's actually a really crappy day outside in New York. It's pouring rain, so I'm going to blame it on that. But I just had like 3 more questions for Chris, and then I'm finally going to leave him alone for a very long time. Kind enough to be on. Is he back? Chris, are you there?
I'm back. Yeah,
okay,
sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you always make fun of my cell reception. Who's laughing now?
Yeah, this whole week my cell phone reception sucks. I don't know what's going on. The hotel I was in was just terrible for cell phone reception. Now driving, it just keeps dropping. But
you were saying,
and
CJ, yeah.
CJ ended up. Where did I leave off with him?
You said that he was sleeping. He was passed out, and then I lost you.
Yeah, he wasn't waking up. So then the next morning he comes running in the room, and now he knows I won, and he had my American flag and the gloves I actually fought with on. He's like, "I'm Chris Weidman, man," and we just we were hanging out, and he's happy. He was asking questions to fight and stuff, and it was cool.
Wow, that is great. Amazing. Hey, Chris, can I ask you this before I let you go? You were probably, with blinders on and were very focused on the task at hand, obviously. But a story came up in which you were kind of brought into, this story about Ramzan Kadyrov. Have you seen this? Have people asked you about this?
No.
Well, at one point, a few years back, you did travel to Chechnya on some sort of like promo tour, right?
I did. I did like a seminar.
That's right. And
out there.
And HBO did this story on the leader in Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, in which a lot has come out in terms of his ideologies and how despicable they are, and just what kind of a person he is, and how he's using MMA to further those ideologies, et cetera, et cetera. And you were kind of brought in as someone who has ties to him. From what I understand, based on my conversations with you, you kind of went out there, you were offered this opportunity, but you have no actual ties to him. So I was wondering if you happened to see this story or any of the stories that came out of it, and if you wanted to in any way address being linked to him or people saying that you have ties to this individual.
Yeah, I have no ties to him. I went out there. It was a one-time experience. I knew nothing about Chechnya. I just knew I was going to Russia to do a seminar. Not my manager, but another manager had asked me if I wanted to do it. And, obviously it was like a paid thing. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. Let's do it. And then it was an interesting experience, a completely different type of culture than out here. For me, it was a great experience going out there, just seeing a different way of living than what we're used to here. But yeah, no, I have no ties with them. I have never, I haven't spoke to them since, 2015 you said?
I think it was that. I mean, you would know better than me, but I think it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but I haven't spoke to them or haven't been asked to go back out or anything like that. So no, I know I have nothing to do with them right now.
And when you fight, you're not representing his team, or he's not paying you, or anything. It was just kind of a one-off, right?
No. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And did you meet him when you were there?
Yes, I did.
And what was that like?
He treated us like kings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. I mean, they treated us great. They were very respectful. Obviously, it was a completely different type of culture. So it was a cool experience to see a different way of living.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to try to clear that up, because I remember when talking to you about it that it was just kind of this one-off thing and you've had no connection to him since, but wanted to see if you had any thoughts. Of course, you were preparing for the fight, so I don't imagine you watched the HBO special. But if you do have some time, I would suggest checking it out just because you did travel over there, and it's, I think, become a lot more dangerous over there as well for all kinds of people. Chris, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. Hope you get some sleep, and hope you're able to enjoy this. Enjoy victory. I know it's been a while, and you don't like when I bring that up, but it's great to see you back, and it was one of my favorite moments covering the sport, just seeing the happiness on your face and your family and the people on Long Island. A really cool moment, and you certainly deserved it.
That place got lit on fire that night, didn't it? Was that nuts?
I mean, I don't like to compare it to other things, but like the crowd going in, when you walked out, there was kind of like a nervous energy in the crowd. I don't know if you sensed that. But then afterwards, it was like the Islanders had just won. And they've done a great job with that arena, by the way. It looks beautiful. They really renovated it well. And I thought it was interesting that, as I noted afterwards, in the renovated Nassau Coliseum, you used to go there as a kid. You sort of resurrected your career as well. You see that symbolism? You see what goes on there? You feel that?
I see that. I feel it. It's crazy. Someone went out like during the after party thing. Oh no, actually the next day I was out with like Stipe Miocic, Volante, and Wonder Boy, and a bunch of different other people. And some kid like happened to see me in one of these bars, and he jumped out of his Uber just to tell me that he's been going to Nassau Coliseum events his whole life. He's like a 40-year-old guy, and he's like I've never heard that Coliseum sound like that before out of all my years and all the huge events I've been to. He was like, it was an amazing experience.
What I loved most about it was kind of like a local card on the biggest stage, because everyone seemed to have a connection to one of you on the card. Like you saw a ton of people supporting LaFleur, Kelleher, Bermuda, you know what I mean? But you guys were fighting in the UFC, so it's rare that a card would feature so many local guys. And I thought they really got it right with this one, featuring all of you and, of course, putting you in the main event. So it was great. I'll never forget it. I'm sure you won't as well.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate it. Get some rest, and we'll talk to you soon again. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you.
All right. There he is. Chris Weidman stopping by. What a great moment once again. By far, in my opinion, one of the best of the year. Him winning, the reaction, the explosion, the celebration, the happiness, something I have a feeling he won't soon forget, and no one in that crowd will soon forget. 11,000 plus fans in attendance on Saturday at the Coliseum.